Managing modern dairy cows to keep them in production for longer was the discussion topic at the Delaval Cow Longevity Conference in St Petersburg last month. The overall message from European and Russian experts was that cow longevity requires a holistic approach. Essential to this was optimum management, starting at genetics, extending through calf rearing and on into being a mature, high-yielding animal. To illustrate the vision of cow longevity, Dr. Charlotte Hallin-Sandgren of Delaval introduced the Russian audience to Vega, a record-breaking cow from southern Sweden. The dairy site caught up with Dr. Hallin-Sandgren and asked how Vega was able to live long enough to produce 155 tonnes of milk in her life. In your speech to the audience before, you gave a talk about a cow in Sweden that produced a phenomenal amount of milk. What was the cow and why did it achieve such great yields in its productive life?
Maybe I should say why I showed it to begin with. I showed it because I wanted the audience to feel that everything is possible, and it is indeed. And this particular cow, she's of course of a very good merit from the first thing. But I think to get to that high amount of milk, 155 tons of milk over her whole lifespan, producing 11 heifer calves, I think, and 4 or 5 bull calves or something like that. You have to have a very good childhood as a cow. Mm-hmm. I mean, a calf, of course. So you really have to be very, very cared for and also have a good growth rate and healthy life before calving first time. And then you really need to be healthy all the way. And to be healthy, of course, you have to prevent diseases. The interesting thing with Vega is actually that she came from a Thai stall, and in like her 12s or something, she moved to a voluntary milking system. And she continued to produce this amount of milk and got pregnant, because not only healthy does the cow have to be, she also have to calve within reasonable time to get those high levels of milk.
Timing's important too.
Exactly. So as I think I know she had 16 calvings, you can easily imagine that she always had like 12-month lactation interval, which is of course a prerequisite to actually give those yields. But basically take care of the hooves and claws, which I know these farmers are doing. Feed her accurately and have a very accurate heat detection where you breed as soon as possible, basically 60 days first time. That is what it's all about.
Cow longevity starts with flooring, according to Professor Christer Bergsten from the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. He told the dairy site that flooring frequently gets overlooked, but that investing in floors often makes economic sense. This is from reduced costs of treating lameness and a higher percentage of cows being able to milk for longer and realise cull value. As a rule, slatted floors stay the cleanest and rubber matting provides a comfortable environment. However, Professor Bergsten acknowledges that slatted flooring and matting is not practical on all farms. Rubber matting must eventually be replaced, and the initial outlay is considerable. One of the things I've been talking with you about is the importance of slatted flooring and rubber mats on top, and it's the combination of those that's so good. Why is that?
You have different qualities. One is which is of importance for the cow health and longevity. One is the hygiene, and if you have a slatted flooring, the dirt will just pass through the floor. If you have a solid floor, you scrape it, you spread the manure all over, and you have more ammonium emission, for example, which is not good for the environment or neither for the cow. That's one part, and if you cover the concrete with rubber, you have much better comfort, better grip for the feet. So you join the two good qualities in one piece.
And how many cows is that enough area for?
In average, in many countries, you have a mortality rate of 5%. So in 100 cows, you have 5 cows dying in 1 year. And if you reduce that to 4 cows, you can invest in this rubber
space. Excellent. Okay, so it seems like cow longevity is a good way towards sustainable farming.
And it's threefold. It's the economy, it's the welfare, and it's also the climate.
Okay.
So you invest in several parts by better longevity.
The conference heard that if lameness is low, then cows with good mobility and well-designed buildings can move freely. This helps both milk production and overall health, as cows are able to access feed, water and stalls when it suits them. Fellow Swedish lecturer Thomas Pauli says the industry needs to think more about cow welfare. His advice to farmers is that there are many elements to improving animal welfare which must all be considered.
What are some of the things you've seen? You went to a farm visit yesterday. What type of things have you seen so far? And is it any different to your stereotype, any Russian stereotypes you might have had?
Yes, in a way, yes and no. The buildings were about in the way I expected it. I've seen it on picture, on documentaries. So they are old buildings, but I was surprised about particularly the quality of the forage they were feeding was excellent fermentation quality, very good smell, and at least what I've seen, and the animals appeared to be in good conditions. We couldn't see any lameness, and altogether the animals were clean. To me it appeared it was a well-managed farm we were visiting, so that's nice to see that you can have old buildings that might not might give you impression that is maybe an old, badly managed farm. Then you go in, have a look at it, and you see it's a perfectly well-managed farm. That made me happy.
So what we saw yesterday down the road from St. Petersburg was an old Soviet farm structure, remodernised inside, fitted with swinging cow brushes, modern milking stations, lots of room for cows to move around, automated scriping for the manure, and that leads us on to where Russia is going in the future. And part of that, we heard the minister say, is cow longevity is very important.
Yeah.
What do you think embracing the notion of cow longevity can do for for Russian dairy production?
I think it's very important to get into the thinking that it has a big economic factor, the cow longevity. And I think it's earlier probably farmers didn't think so much about that and and we have to get starting to to work with that in order not to get a shorter and shorter lifespan of these animals, because that will create big economic problems for us. And and the animals, when they increasing their production year by year, we have to give them care more about animal welfare in order to keep them give them a long life. So we have actually to do more and get more concerned about animal welfare if we want to keep animals who have 3 or 4 lactations.
Summarising, Mr. Labinov, the animal health from the Animal Health Department, said that the Russians were aiming for 4.5 lactations. Currently, it's 2.5 lactations per cow, and that's not good enough. That's where Russia is now, and it's where it wants to be in the future.